All right, I wanted to do another quick video here regarding a math puzzle that I've been seeing showing up a lot on Facebook in the last couple of days, and I guess it's actually been out there for quite a bit longer. But I wanted to cover it a little bit here and talk about it. Basically, it says I bought an elephant for $700. I sold the elephant for 1,200. I bought the elephant again for 1,300. I sold the elephant again for 1,800. How much did I earn? Very simple problem, elementary school math, but I see a lot of people getting this thing wrong. So once again, how much did I earn? Basically, in this case, we're looking at profit. We don't have information on expenses and so on, so we're just dealing with the only costs that we have involved or what he spent to buy this elephant. So we look at this. There's different ways to look at it and solve it. You could look at it and say, let's look at the first sale. He bought for 700, sold for 1,200. He made a $500 profit, right? We don't know how much money he started with. A lot of people get hung up on that. He could have $1 million. He could have borrowed the 700 to start with. We don't know. A lot of people get hung up on that and they mess up the math. So right here off the bat, he made $500 on this first sale. You can look at the second sale. He bought the elephant again for 1,300, sold for 1,800. What's the difference between those two numbers? It's another 500 bucks. He makes 500 profit. A lot of people get hung up on the fact that he spent 100 bucks more when he bought the elephant again. And they worry about where he got that money. Like, oh, he had to borrow that money. He had to take that from his profit. Don't forget, reinvesting previous profits is not a loss. We have no idea. The guy could have $1 million in the bank, and he just goes and grabs another 100 bucks. He could have 100 bucks in his shoe. We don't know. The starting amount of money is irrelevant, so you got to remember that. All right. So you look at this and you go 500 plus 500 is 1,000. His total profit is $1,000. It's not 900. It's not 1,100. I see a lot of people doing that. Another way you can look at it is just go write down all the math here. Every time you buy it, it's a negative thing. You're losing money. You're spending money. Every time you sell, you're gaining money, so it's positive. So minus 700 plus 1,200 minus 1,300 plus 1,800 is 1,000. That's simple. You should be able to do that in your head. Another way to look at it is how much money did he spend altogether? Well, we know he bought the elephant for 700. He bought it again for 13. 700 and 1,300 is $2,000. He spent 2,000. How much money did he bring in? Well, he made $1,200 the first time he sold it. He made another 1,800 the second time he sold it. So 1,200 plus 1,800 is 3,000. So the profit is what he made minus what he spent in this case. So profit, same as earnings, is 3,000 minus 2,000 is 1,000. $1,000 profit. A lot of confusion over earnings. I see people on these forums going, well, unless you're out there with a shovel or a hammer or a saw, you're not working, you're not earning. We're not talking about earning as far as duly work or, that kind of thing. We're talking about earnings in the sense of profits, revenues, things like that. So please look at your definitions. And for one thing, it's really insulting too. You're insulting people who actually work in sales for a living and they work really hard at it. It's one thing I'm not good at is being a salesperson. Um, so again, this is third grade math. It's not an economics course. Don't worry about how much it costs to feed the elephant, um, vet costs, things like that, transportation. We're not dealing with that. This is third grade math. So our profit is $1,000. And please do not confuse revenues with earnings. The revenues are basically the money that he brought in, which was a 3,000, and his expenses in this case are the 2,000 and his earnings or his profit is the 1,000. All right. Again, here's kind of a definition. Revenue, total income derived by any business entity. Earnings left after deducting expenses from total income. Earnings equals revenue minus expenses. In this case, it's our profit. Okay. Um, we're not discussing worthiness. Again, I mentioned the term earn, what it means earn, or earnings. To receive as return for effort and especially for work done or services rendered. There's another definition: to come to be duly worthy or entitled or suited to, like she earned a promotion. That's a whole different definition. That's a different definition than when we're talking about earning as far as income and money. That's a totally different thing. That you've got, to make worthiness, that's something else. That's another definition of earn, so don't confuse that. And again, like I said, it seems silly to even mention it, but you know, uh, some people believe you're not earning anything when you're just buying and selling. Again, these people are confusing the definition that we're using for earn. So I'm not even going to dwell on that anymore. It's just ridiculous. One of the common mistake answers that people get is 900. It bothers a lot of people that he spent $100 more on the second purchase, so they're blindly subtracting another $100 without thinking it through. The math is really right there in front of you, like I showed before. Negative 700 plus 1200 minus 1300 plus 1800 is 1,000. And again, it doesn't matter how much money he started with. He spent 2,000, he brought in 3,000. He could have any amount of starting money. It's not important. But some people can't resist the urge to subtract that extra 100 again. So like I'm showing in red there, they're just putting that in there and getting 900. So they're not thinking the math through at all. 1100 is another common incorrect answer. I see there's some similar puzzles on the internet with buying horses and cows and different amounts of money, and I'm always seeing the answers either $100 low or $100 high, but they're making the same mistake. And the people in this case, for some unknown reason, they think just because it's the same elephant, it only matters what they spent at the beginning and what they sold it for at the end. And they're completely ignoring the fact that there were two different sales involved. And why people get that in their mind, I really have no idea, but it's a really common mistake. It's a really bad assumption. Probably means you shouldn't be involved ever in buying or selling stock. It's common. People buy stock, they sell it, they might buy back in at some point because they think it's going to go up. They sell it again, and they get two profits out of it if they're lucky. In this case, yeah, the guy got a profit of 500 the first sale, a profit of 500 the second sale. In this case, people are just going, hey, 1,800 minus 700, what I sold it for at the end, what I paid at the beginning, it's 1,100, and that's just another wrong answer. So that's not valid at all. And again, like I've said before, it makes no difference how much money he started with. He profits $1,000. Okay, so there's been a myriad of other answers too. I've seen some other ones where they're saying like he lost 300, lost, some other amount of money. It's like how do you come up with losing money when on each of those sales he got a profit? I don't understand. So once again, the fact nobody knows how much money he had in the bank to start with. The sales occurred in the past. This is his history, right? We know these sales happened. So obviously he had to have the money. He either borrowed it from his uncle Cletus, and Uncle Cletus didn't charge him any interest, or he had the money. That we were not concerned about that. For people who can't figure this out, you can count out pennies and pretend they're $100 bills or use Monopoly money. Really whatever works for you. But most people, I think, at some point in their life have done a ledger or a checkbook register. I mean, man, this is like you could do the same thing here, and you could pick any random amount of money, and people jump on me for that too. Oh, how can you assume that he's got a certain amount of money? Well, people are assuming that he only had $700 to start with, and the problem never even says that. It doesn't say anything at all about him only having $700. It doesn't tell us at all how much money he had. And again, my point is, it doesn't matter how much money he started with. He's going to profit $1,000 as long as he's not paying any interest anywhere, that kind of thing. So, here's an example. And again, I'm picking a random amount of starting money. I'm just saying, hey, this guy's got $2,000 when he wakes up in the morning, okay? And he's got this thing about he wants to go buy, well, in this case, he wants to buy an elephant. I'm saying a cow. I've actually got cow written here. I mean elephant. There's another similar puzzle with a cow. but the amounts of money are actually correct here. So just pretend it's elephant, not cow. Okay, it makes no difference. So he buys the elephant for 700. He's got $1,300 left out of his 2,000. So now he sells the cow for 1,200, right? So now that gives him $1,300 plus 1,200. 2,500 is what he's got after the first sale. Well, how much did he start with? We said $2,000. So if after that first sale he's got 2,500, that tells us right away that he's made a $500 profit just from that first sale. You can subtract 2,000 from 2,500, you're going to get 500 bucks. Now he buys the cow again for 1,300, right? So we know he had 2,500, so 2,500 minus 1,300 equals $1,200 remaining. Now he sells the cow again one last time for $1,800. So he's got 1,200 plus 1,800 equals $3,000. So his total profit now is what he ended up with minus what he started the day when he got up out of bed. So it's 3,000 minus 2,000 equals 1,000. And what I'm trying to tell you is you can take this 2,000 and make it whatever you want. You can make that $1,000,000. You can make it 100,000. You can make it zero, and you can have him borrow the money. And as long as he pays it back, doesn't have to pay any interest, you're going to end up going from zero at the beginning to 1,000 at the very end. So when you start out with that, you're going to go from zero to 1,000. You're still going to have $1,000 profit even after paying off the money that you borrowed. So what I'm suggesting is work it out. Do a ledger, just like you would do a checkbook register, and figure it out that way. So I'm hoping that this example helps. I may be seeing 10, 20% of the people only getting the 1,000. I'm seeing so many other wrong answers, but this is how it's done. Understand how the math works. It's very simple. This is like third grade math. It's not bad at all. So hope this helps, and good luck.